In many sports, I've heard people say offense sells tickets, but defense wins championships. While there is definitely some validity to playing great defense in sports, I don't think the same holds true in retirement. Actually, I think one of the biggest retirement mistakes that people make is always playing with a defensive mindset and playing not to lose in their golden years. This shows up in several areas, and in today's video, I'm going to highlight 5 ways it's easy for all of us to play defense in retirement. I want you to hit some home runs, make some slam dunks, and score long touchdowns by playing offense with your retirement. So let's get started. It's game time.
We're John and Bev, and we are the Retirement Travelers.
If you've just found us, we're a senior travel couple who are traveling the world full-time in retirement. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter in the link below. If you're wondering where we are as we travel, you can always find us on Instagram. We keep it updated to our current location. We're now in South Africa. When Bev and I travel the world, we spend a lot of time walking and talking. A frequent topic of discussion is how people live their lives in retirement. It kind of surprises us that many people are defensive with their time, their money, their stuff, their expectations, and especially their egos. People have all kinds of big excuses for why they don't seek a different way of life, even if they're currently unhappy. Over the years, I've noticed that people play defense a lot with their lives. I think this defensiveness comes from living a long life and getting burned by some youthful decisions. I think we've all done that. We learn as we grow that we have to protect ourselves from the dangers ahead. But many people build these massive forts for protection when they really just need a little knee wall or a fence. So let's talk about these 5 areas. Now hear me out. Some of these things you might be aware of, but some of them could be affecting you in ways you hadn't thought of. Being concerned about when to retire is important, but time is also key. You need to consider the time you have left, and I don't mean the time from your retirement to the grave, but the time you have from retirement to when you can't do what you love. Retirement has 3 stages: the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. Bev and I are enjoying our go-go years, hence the world travel. But for many people, they wait so long to retire that they retire directly into their slow-go years rather than the best 10 years of their life when they first retire and they are the healthiest. You cannot go back to these go-go years, so don't squander them. If you have a crystal ball and could look 10 years down the road and know that you or your partner wouldn't be alive, you'd probably wish you had protected those precious years after retirement, not the first few before retirement. Now, while we're on the topic of time and health, I'm sure we could all use a little kick in the booty to get ourselves in shape and extend out those go-go years. So here's my take. I recently read a great book called Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia. In it, he talked about the concept of the centenarian decathlon, where you actually imagine living to 100 and what you want to be able to do during those years. How about carrying a backpack, when you're 80 years old and traveling the world, or picking up your great-grandchild when you're 90? Now is the time to get serious and offensive about your health and fitness. Time is of the essence. The second defensive area is money. And this one starts even before retirement begins. We save our entire working lives, and the question becomes, do we have enough saved? Of course, we can all be defensive and question when the time is right, but there's another aspect of money that we need to consider: becoming a spender. Now, this may sound really easy to spend your retirement money, but the truth is that many people struggle with this. A recent study by BlackRock said that nearly 1/3 of people actually grew their investments over the first 20 years of retirement. So you might think, great, we want to make money on our retirement, but the truth is these people are not spending it down when they can afford to do so. They are being too defensive. This is rarely a good thing when your goal is to live a good life within your means. We're talking about hoarding money and by bypassing the fruits of our labor. A good financial planner will help you realistically look at what you can and should be spending. We were on a podcast about a year ago, and the host, who was a financial planner, said that he wanted us to talk about spending money traveling. He said he had many clients who can afford to travel, but they don't. He said they have a hard time, being convinced that they can and should spend down their retirement during their go-go years and not wait to just pass it on to their heirs. Also, some people are so defensive with their money that they can't get help with their investments. They play defense and don't want to pay for someone to help them. Yes, they are saving on fees, but are they really saving? We are very confident that we are much better off because we have a professional financial planner who can help us. Yes, we do pay for their expertise, but I can assure you, neither Bev nor I have the knowledge it takes or the time needed to do it well. We know this every time we sit down to talk with them. We have made many, many wrong decisions, and if it weren't for them, we would be in trouble now. They help us not only with investments, but things like long-term planning, tax strategies, and estate planning. We'll leave a link to their firm in the description below, and you can check them out if you're looking for someone. The next area we get defensive about is our stuff. Now, we've done a few videos on downsizing our stuff when we retired, and we've heard it all. I want my kids to have a place to stay when they come home twice a year. I can't possibly deal with all the stuff I have. I'm too attached. Whatever the reason, people are very defensive of their home and their stuff, even if downsizing would facilitate a better life for themselves or even an earlier retirement. I get that we did the opposite. We got rid of everything, and we aren't advocating this for everyone. In our case, we plan to buy a home again one day, but we aren't interested in filling it with stuff. I can assure you our lives are much, much richer for having let go of our stuff. Being defensive is bad when it comes to stuff, but being offensive is the way to go. It's just stuff, and nothing is more cathartic than going through the process of downsizing. It is emotional and causes you to be reflective of your life choices. Nothing assures you more that stuff is just stuff than going through the process of getting rid of it. Your relationship with it and your thoughts about it will change. I highly recommend it, even if it's just a storage unit, an attic, or a hall closet. Give it a try and let stuff go. If you want to learn more about this, check out our video called Swedish Death Cleaning. It's a process that we highly recommend for all retirees as they prepare for the last 30 years of their lives. The next area people are defensive about is their expectations. They lose the confidence that they once had that they could conquer the world. They buy into the idea that their best years are behind them or that they're just not good at anything. Being comfortable all the time is playing defensive. An offensive strategy is to get out of your comfort zone, learn something new, do something different, take off and see the world. Bev and I were very comfortable in our previous life. When she suggested we sell our home and take off for a life of full-time travel, it took me by surprise. She was confident that we could do it, and she was brave and adventurous. I love that about her. The truth is, we knew very little of what our lives would be like, but we trusted ourselves to help each other through it and decided we'd face one thing at a time. I can't say that it's always been easy sailing, and we've gotten ourselves in a few pickles, but we've learned from it and moved on. That's what makes it fun. Maybe your life needs a little fun. Why don't you take a trip to a country without a travel guide? We have lots of city guides on our website, so go there, pick a country, follow our guide, and get out of your comfort zone. If you need a nudge, pick Romania or Thailand. Both are great locations that are very affordable. Many people speak English, and public transportation is available and easy to manage. The last area that people are defensive of is their ego. Now, this was the very first thing I said when Bev suggested we sell our house and give away all of our stuff. I said, people are going to think we're crazy. And they did. So what? But honestly, it's easy for me to say this now, but at the time, I'm embarrassed to admit that we seriously talked about it. We not only said we're selling our home, but we've also made the shocking announcement that we're becoming YouTubers. Imagine the horror. We've talked about this idea of living our lives in the defensive mode of ego a lot on our journey. We were both taught by our parents not to follow the leader and be our own person, and we tried to instill this in our kids. The truth is, we look back on our lives and we always did what everybody else did and what was expected of us. You could look in our closet and see the results. We wore what was acceptable to our peer group. We cut our hair like our peers. We drove acceptable cars. We bought the same home. We cared and we protected our ego. The offensive move was what we did. We followed our hearts. We decided to chart our own path, even if someone else didn't understand our choices. People can be very judgmental. We know everyone isn't going to get us, and that's okay. We've learned during our travels that the world is made up of many types, and we need different points of view for the world to grow together and become better neighbors. I hope this video has helped you upon your decisions on how you will live your life in retirement. If you have any questions or you have something to add, leave it in the comments and we'll play our death cleaning video next. See you soon. Be sure to hit subscribe and follow along on our retirement journey around the world.